Alright guys, time to grab it back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to talk about this interesting thread of tweets that Hastr0 did yesterday. Well, is he subtweeting some Call of Duty League organisations? That is the question right now. A number of people saying that this is actually related to the Overwatch League, but certainly seems, well, very justifiable to look at this through the lens of 100 Thieves, potentially even the Chicago Huntsmen, depending, because there was certainly an interesting clip that came out, I thought, on the Eavesdrop podcast not too long ago with Hastr0 and Hector on that, and there was the discussion from Hector around, like, there was this Warzone tournament that my guys were competing in. It was definitely going to be a good thing for our brand if they competed in it, and I was very happy for them to like take the day off scrims for them to play in this tournament and help grow the Huntsman brand in that sense. Hastr0 doesn't necessarily agree. He's all about winning, and he does get results at the end of the day, right? Winning the World Championship here in Modern Warfare. But very interesting to run through these tweets and see what you guys think they mean in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you for doing that. Just before we get into the tweet though, I wanted to mention this from Charlie Intel. Apparently an Activision employee is saying that there will not be an engine shift for Warzone following the Black Ops Cold War integration, which is very interesting, right? Because the game will feel entirely different playing Warzone from the actual playing multiplayer, right? So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Sounds a bit strange, but it doesn't impact well, competitive play too much. These are the tweet threads then. So Hastr0 says, people bitching about esports orgs throwing money to buy or sign better players. Well, how else do you expect an esports team to remain relevant? So that's where it kind of starts off. Then we get this one. I don't want to be a team owner whose aim is to sell you hoodies and make you watch videos. I want to be a team owner who lets you experience winning. And there's certainly an interesting conflict there, right? Because if you're a winning team, you're going to attract fans at the end of the day, no matter what. But there is also the other major element of it, right? And we've seen with Optic Gaming over the years, back in the day, back in like, you know, start of Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, these guys were not the best team in the game, right? They built up to that point over time and could be winning, but also be the best team in the game. And they were the underdogs for a long time, but fan favorites because they had Scump and Nature. And the guys that pioneered the Call of Duty YouTube side really didn't really do hoodies or anything like that. And well, is this an implication of an organization like 100 Thieves, right? Because a number of people say from a number of different esports perspectives that 100 Thieves is just a merge organization. They don't care about winning, they don't have the best teams, and we saw them leave Counter-Strike Global Offensive not too long ago. Their LCS team isn't exactly superb, all this kind of stuff. But what they are superb at is getting you to buy some merch drops, right? Limited edition merch drops and stuff like this. I think Hastr0 and Team Envy also do similar things, maybe with not quite the same success. And some people certainly might look at this tweet and think, like, is Hastr0 a little bit salty that these other organizations, the likes of 100 Thieves, are bigger than his esports org is, has more fans? I mean, like, there's no denying it that probably when LA Thieves joins the CDL next season, they're going to be a bigger team in terms of branding than the Dallas Empire, right, straight away without really having to do anything, which is, well, certainly an interesting discussion to be had. But winning certainly does help. There's definitely two sides to the coin, and you see that pretty interestingly with the divide between Hastr0 and Hector, where, like, Hector obviously cares about winning, but at the end of the day, like, building the brand and getting the sponsorship deals and all this kind of stuff is probably a higher priority than winning, whereas for Hastr0, like, winning is the be-all and end-all. So certainly an interesting thing to keep your eyes on as we go through this. Ask yourself why you cheer for some of these teams who sign big personalities just so they can sell you stuff when you could be an Envy fan and know you will experience victories. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting comment, this one. He keeps on going. I'm here to sign the absolute best talent in all of esports. That is my job right now, leaving the selling to other people. So the selling of hoodies and merchandise and this kind of stuff, might as well at them. Don't need to at them. If they're guilty, they're guilty, and everybody already knows. And when he comes back with this, I like the term entertainment org. My organization is not quite that yet. However, we are a great esports org and are kicking the hell out of your favorite entertainment org's esports subsidiary, minus a few, of course. There are some great entertainment organizations out there. And Hastr0 follows up with, that's the way I like to think about our business. So, the goal should be great at the sport you're in, be entertaining, reap the long-term benefits of doing both 1, 2, and 3. So, well, certainly this is the direction that Hastr0 looks at it in. Maybe other organizations look at things through a slightly different perspective. What about Counter-Strike? We had reserved a larger budget than the previous 3 years of our CSGO team at Envy in 2021. Have a lot of faith that our current roster is going to do well. So on Counter-Strike, I mean, they won a major a few years ago. Like, Team Envy had a great squad with, like, Kenny S and all those guys back in the day. Not the case anymore. He continues on with, I really started the conversation on my timeline today to let you guys know how committed I am to being competitive and winning events so that our fans enjoy those moments. We all need to feel the sensation of winning sometimes. That is what I'm trying to give you. And well, that's part of the reason why he has the team that he has. Hukeli, Shotzi, and Crimsix as it stands right now. Definitely he was talking at length about how much work these guys are putting in, and they were definitely, going above and beyond what the other teams were doing in terms of practice, in terms of watching VOD, in terms of improving off their own backs, right? And this kind of, this kind of attitude mood for your team to have is obviously fantastic and aligns very nicely with what Envy and, well, they are trying to accomplish, right? They're not streaming scrims or anything of the Dallas Empire. They're super business focused when it comes to actually playing the game and being the best team. You gotta respect it. Now, while he could be talking about some Overwatch League stuff, it definitely seems that this aligns very well with an organization like 100 Thieves, right? We see a number of different teams, a number of different teamos and players talking about over the last several months how, well, 100 Thieves are just a merch org, don't really care about actually taking the dub home at the end of the day. This is just an example of one of their drops, and, you know, from back in March 2020, they do this kind of stuff all the time. But 100 Thieves doesn't have the fundamental goal of being, like, necessarily the best team in the world in all the esports they compete in. They're an esports, but they're also like a lifestyle brand, right? And that's what Nature has built so successfully here in this brand over the last couple of years. And these merch drops absolutely blow up every single time as a result. And as a result of people getting interested in investing into their team, then we get the whole situation where if they do win events, and when they do move into new esports, they immediately have fans that follow them there, which is obviously pretty cool. Now we'll look at Optic Gaming as well, because this definitely could be referring to 100 Thieves, but at the same time, let's just have a look at Optic Gaming's history as well. So way back in 2011 days, for example, they won a few events, few and far between. Then we had Black Ops 2, we had like third places here, and this is where really when the Complexity dynasty was dominating. And you can see at this particular run here, end of Black Ops 2 into Call of Duty Ghosts, this victory at the X Games Invitational was kind of like a transcendent event, frankly, for the Optic Gaming brand, because they'd been the underdogs for so long. They'd never quite gotten over the line, but they were considered like the most popular team in the game. They had the most fans, they had everyone cheering for them at the events, but they couldn't quite get it done right. And Frico, I mean the Black Ops 2 days, for example, Frico versus Complexity, that was kind of like the drama that the villains and, well, Optic were always considered the underdogs at these type of events, but they still certainly had the most fans because they invested most in the content side and bringing on Scump and Nadeshots, and these guys that knew certainly what they were doing to build their own following at the time. Then into Advanced Warfare, though, then they kicked up the gear, right? And this is where it's pretty interesting from like Envy Gaming side, the fact that yes, they have the best ever result at the World Championship. I think they've, you know, they have the most victories at the World Championship now. They have the most grand final performances at the World Championship. They have the highest average placing, but throughout Advanced Warfare, you know, Black Ops 3, etc., they were getting kind of smoked by Optic Gaming, right? Who were winning on both fronts, right? They were winning on the content front, but also on actually being the best team in the game. A number of Ws, of course, through Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare on the Dynasty, and as of, well, the World War II and Black Ops 4 season wasn't quite as pretty. We can look at Chicago and see a similar thing, frankly, this season. They win early on at London, they win at Seattle as well, but the latter half of the season, there was certainly some discussions around, okay, we're streaming scrims. RCTs was like, you know, is this really beneficial for us? Is it actually taken away from our gameplay? Because whoever's streaming's looking at their chat, right, and shouting out donations, and isn't fully focused on the actual gameplay itself. And we did kind of see it the latter half of the season that Chicago weren't quite the team they were early on, and Dallas really came up through the ranks to actually win the World Championship. You can see a pretty opposite situation here from when Chicago started out really hot to when Dallas at the end of the season, well, they also did start out really hot on the, the online tournaments and stuff, the elites, the 5v5 S&D kind of stuff, but at the start of the season, they didn't have the greatest weekend. Second here, they did win Los Angeles weekend, and then, well, towards the end of the season, they actually did win the World League Championship and never finished outside the top 4, which is pretty impressive, frankly, for a team like this. So it's clear that you see two entirely different philosophies, right? You have the philosophy of Hastr0, who focuses only on winning, right? We're the world champions Dallas Empire, only organization to win 2 world championships, 5 out of 8 world championships, grand finals appearances, #1 organization in Call of Duty, prize money won. So this is what Hastr0 is focused on, but at the same time, there's other esports owners, the likes of Nadeshot, the likes of Hector, who, yes, they like to win, but that's not necessarily the be-all and end-all of their brand. And do you guys think some of these comments from Hastr0, the likes of ask yourself why you cheer for these teams rather not envy, are, well, are fair and justified? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
First and foremost, congratulations, champion. That is 2 under your belt. You're the only team that has won 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that we won 2 because CoD XP was, you know, CoD XP wasn't a Call of Duty World Champion, but
it's still a big tournament.
First $1 million
tournament.
First $1 million tournament. We're on the front page of the Xbox Live. You know, when you turn it on, you see it. Yeah, the dashboard.
Yep.
Super happy. You commentated that. You, Fwiz, Justine, Anyway, congrats, man. How does it feel? The inaugural?
Man, I mean, you know me. Like, you know me. You know how much I care about it. And I mean, it's the thing probably for both of us, you know, even though you focus on a lot of other things too, and you have a lot of success doing other things. For me, it's like the only thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it means a lot, man. I mean, it means a lot to go out and just to have our guys working that hard throughout the year too for it and wanting it. Like, it was just the culture for our team all year. Everybody had their own motivation, you know, to go out and try to win it, including me and our org. So